vocal for you guys lately, or maybe taking a leadership stance? Has that maybe been you, or has anybody spoken up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everybody. I mean, I don't think, nobody in this locker room wants to lose. So everybody's kind of been vocal, talking to each other. The staff has been really vocal about it. I mean, I promise you, our film session was very long yesterday. As a team, we took accountability for it. And, it's March now, so you can't really harp on things like that. It's kind of, we got to win and move on.
About how long was that film session? Was it going over Tennessee, or was it kind of getting ready again for Kentucky?
It was Tennessee, but also getting ready for Kentucky. But it was long, like really, 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 really long.
Last thing, I guess, what gives you confidence that this team can take care of business Saturday and then become a tough out in the postseason?
I mean, this team has proved to play its best basketball when it's big stages and stuff like that. I mean, I think the way we performed in Maui was pretty good. Games like Oklahoma really, when I look at it overall, the season and the body of work, I think this team kind of performs really well on big stages. I mean, we had Bama both times and just kind of let them drop, but I think we should have won both of those games. But in March, March is neutral site, big stage, and with the guys on our team individually, I know how they are, and I think we'll play our best basketball in March.
Curtis?
You've kind of been touching on the March theme here, and obviously you've been a part of a couple of nice runs with the program during this month. Just curious to you, like what is different about this month? What changes, and then what do you think this group needs to do to kind of have a chance at some similar success?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna like this at all, what I'm about to say, but March is kind of like nut dropping time. You know what I mean? This is where the men come to play basketball. AB is crazy. Where the men come to play basketball, and that's kind of all what it's about. So I think, you kind of get battle tested in March. That's like, why upsets happen. Like nobody really cares about what you did all year. It's kind of, you roll the basketball out there and you see who's the best team. So I think that's kind of why we've had success in March, because we ended up figuring out a way to win. I mean, I know we have one of the best staffs in the nation, if not the best staff in the nation, for things like March. So down here, I mean, we've been having success. So, we're gonna roll the dice and see how it goes.
Bob, for old time's sake, one more.
Okay.
It better be a good one, Bob. Don't give me nothing crazy. What's up?
Well, I don't know if Anthony's sitting right there next to you, but just wondering what you've thought of Anthony's freshman year. I know the last two games have been a little uncharacteristic with the turnovers, but looking at his season as a whole, all the stuff he does for y'all, what have you thought about his season?
Man, he's been amazing this season. I mean, even with stuff like Maui and how he played in Maui, and how he's we've had injuries this year, and just how he's handled that and stepped up to the plate. When a kid's that young, you kind of worry, you know what I mean? But with him, I think he's answered all the questions, all the big tests that he's been, all the challenges thrown at him. He's stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. So, he has games where he struggles, but he's super on himself about that. And I think that's the biggest thing with me, how a player takes it, the lows, and whenever he struggles, he holds himself to the highest standard. Like I have to kind of tell him, like, dude, you can't have a good game every game. You know what I mean? But he don't be trying to hear that. So whatever team gets Anthony Black is getting a dog for sure. That's my guy right there.
He fills up the box score in so many stats. Is there one aspect of his game that is there some aspect of his game that stands out more to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's such like a playmaker. But I think, like, in college, the floor is in his space. But I told him, like, in the NBA, man, like, you're going to turn into a scorer, because I don't think it's been highlighted how good of a scorer he is.
Okay, thanks, man. Good luck. Have fun on Saturday.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right, Curtis, get us started with AB, please.
Hey, AB, obviously the calendar has flipped to March here. This is where you want to be playing your best basketball. I guess, is there an area or two with this team that sticks out where you guys really need to sharpen up or improve to do that?
I think our offense has been pretty high or low throughout the season. So we just need to figure out a way to get a consistent movement and easy looks like we have in a lot of the games this year. And then just continuing to sharpen our defense up and try to kill the 3 ball and just follow our scouts and just play good defense.
And then you guys took care of business in Rupp Arena last month. I know both teams have changed since. Kentucky was kind of on a roll up until last night. What do you think it's going to take to get it done in the rematch?
I think we're gonna have to stop their star players. They got a lot of really good, talented players. But there's a couple of players who do more than others. So try to follow the game plan and limit them, and then just continue to try to get back to playing good on offense like we were the first time we played against them.
Scotty?
Yeah, AB asked Kamani this. What gives you the confidence that this team can close the regular season kind of with a bang, and then you guys just kind of turn into a tough out in the postseason? What's it going to take to do that?
I think we just got to stay together as a team and trusting our scouts that we get from the coaches and the game plan, because they come up with really good game plans, and we just got to stick together as one and prioritize winning above all else, like we have at times this year. And if we just do that and play with a lot of toughness, I think we'll be a pretty hard team to beat, which we have been all year.
Kamani said you guys had a pretty long film session yesterday. Could you maybe give a rundown on what all that entailed?
After you lose a game like that, there's a lot to talk about. So we just kind of sat down and had it was really like partly a meeting and film. We just had some stuff we had to talk about. And then we watched on video. We saw a lot of stuff we can correct. It was just a bad game for us. So the coaches did a good job showing us what we did wrong. And we used that time to get better. So it was a productive session yesterday.
Yeah, the last thing, you had a really nice game at Rupp. Do you remember specifically any advantages you may have had in that game that may still present themselves on Saturday?
Advantages, I'm not really sure. I think we just did a good job of keeping them off the boards, and that was a big emphasis for us. So we're going to try to be physical and try to match our physicality, and then just our energy that we had that game. We had a lot of good energy that game.
Hutch?
Yeah, AB, for you individually, was there anything Tennessee did that differently that maybe led to some of your turnovers? And what can you do to maybe clean that up moving forward?
No, it wasn't really anything different, to be honest. I was just being careless with the ball. I wouldn't really say forcing passes, but I was just making careless passes. Then I had the couple of live ball, dribbling turnovers. They call it double dribble. I didn't think I lost it, but I might have just lost it. And then the more I just dribbled it. So I think just being more focused and locked in on taking care of the ball. I'll try to tighten that up this week for the game.
And what do you remember about the last matchup, the way the Mitchell twins handled Sheboy, and how confident are you that they could maybe replicate that on Saturday?
He's a really good player, and the Twins did a really good job on him the first time. I think they held him to 7-7. So, we're just going to try to do the same thing and be super physical with him, because he's a really physical, really good player. So, yeah, we'll try to limit him. But, good players are going to play good. So, yeah, we're just going to try to limit him.
Bob?
Yeah, sorry, I unmuted or something. I don't know. I think I did 4 things there all at once. But anyway, Anthony, you've had a really good season all around in a lot of categories. I know the last 2 games haven't been typical. First, what do you think you got to do to get back to playing like you have most of the year? And then if you were, looking at your overall season, how would you say you've played when you put it all together?
To get back to where I was, I think it was just probably a couple of games ago. I say just continue to play with confidence, because my teammates trusted me, my coaches do too. So, I feel like I need to be a little more aggressive. I think a lot of my turnovers were just me being pretty passive. So, just trying to get back to being aggressive and at the end of the day, just winning games. But overall, I think I did a solid job this year. We had a lot of injuries, so kind of what the team needed me to do changed a lot throughout the year. So yeah, I just try to do a good job of doing what the team needs me to do to help us win. So some days like scoring might be a little low, so I might need to be more aggressive and try to get to the rim. Some days, like now we have Nick back, so I need to focus on defense and rebounding because Nick's a great scorer. So I just been trying to adapt every game to the situation and what we really need. So yeah, I've been working on that this year. I think I did a decent job.
And then Kamani, I guess he's going to be the only senior honored because he's the only one that definitely is out of eligibility. I guess your one season with Kamani, what's that been like? What do you think about Kamani? What impresses you about him?
Thing that impresses me the most about him is his leadership. I didn't really see him as one of the leaders early in the season, but he kind of saw that we had like a lot of new guys and young guys who aren't used to this level of basketball and coaches. So he did a good job being an extension of the coaches and what they want, and just leading us through a lot of stuff. And he's just one of the older guys. He's been here, so he's just a super great leader for us. Even when he was hurt or when he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and then when he does play, he always plays hard for us. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds, and it's just always good having another dude out there playing super hard and trying to make the right plays and just trying to help us win, which is really what he did all season, was really just try to help us win in any way he could. So yeah, we're real thankful for him.
You've been a good, I think you're shooting about 70% from the line. So you've had a good, overall season shooting free throws, but there have been some rough games like, the last game, the Alabama game as a team, missed a lot of free throws. I know you guys work really hard on them in practice and probably in your own time too, but what do you make of that? And what do you guys got to do to maybe shoot the free throws better?
Just focus, to be honest. Like you said, we work on free throws. We shoot a lot of free throws every day during practice, after practice. And a lot of our players work on our game. So I think it just comes down to just focusing in the moment, because we all can make free throws. So we just got to focus and knock them down.
Let's go one more. Sheway, obviously the big guys are guarding him, but I'm thinking a guard, especially a long guy like yourself, might help out some. But from a team defensive standpoint, how do you guys, approach a powerful player like Sheway? And he had 30 in Bud Walton last year. I know different teams and everything, but what's the team defensive approach against a guy like that?
Basketball is 5-on-5, first of all. So against really good players, you got to help your teammates out. And not just with him, with every good post we played this year, we kind of, as guards, got to help paint the picture like we're in there. We got to kind of like paint the picture like we're clogging the lane up. Like he doesn't have a lot of space to just move around. So, we're going to try to make him play in crowds. And yeah, he's a really good player. So, we just got to help our bigs out. But at the end of the day, trust that they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, you probably don't know what a phone booth is. You're too young, but do what?
I've seen one, but I never used it.
Okay, well, that's kind of what coaches talk about, putting a guy in a phone booth so he doesn't have much room to operate,
Yeah.
Kind of with a door on it,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hutch, get us started, please. Coach Muss.
Yeah, Coach, Kamani was telling us they all had a pretty lengthy film session yesterday. I'm just curious how you felt like that went, how the guys responded. Did you get everything you wanted out of that?
Well, we're really going to start diving into stuff today. Certainly the cleanup today. We'll clean up some Tennessee stuff and certainly dive into to Kentucky stuff. Get on the practice floor today and try to get better. Try to get ready for Saturday's game.
And AB's had a really good year this year. The last couple of games may have been a little bit uncharacteristic for him. What do you think that is? Is it a little bit of a freshman wall or a product of the opponents you're playing? And how confident are you that he'll be able to get back on track this Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think, with Anthony, it's, everybody that puts on a uniform, you go through, times of great success, and then you go through a little bit of a struggle, and then you get it back. And he's such a talented player. We certainly, expect him to finish the season strong, both the last regular season game, and then as we start our preparation next week for, for SEC play and tournament play.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, I know both teams have changed quite a bit since that game at Rupp Arena. Just curious what you made of Kentucky's play of late and what you expect from them on Saturday.
Yeah, Coach Cal did a great job of when they kind of went through a little bit of a struggle of getting them out of it. They've been playing great basketball. Obviously, lost yesterday at home to Vandy, but they've been playing great basketball. Livingston's improved, which is what you want out of a younger player, and he's done a great job of offensive rebounding, cutting. He's shooting the three better. Obviously, Wallace has had a great year all season long, and is one of the better players in the country. And Reeves, his shooting, and they went through injuries, and so they get a guy like Frederick back, and all of a sudden that stretches the defense out, and you've got to guard another 3-point threat, and that opens things up for number 34 Toshibwe inside. And Toppin's played well all year. He's a multi-positional player, and so they've played good basketball. They put themselves in a very solid, good position for the NCAA tournament. And so they've played really, really well, the last 3 weeks of this season.
Now, I'm curious, how closely do you follow, the bracketology and the net rankings, stuff like that at this time of year, and just maybe your thoughts on where you feel like you guys stand, and do you talk to the team about that kind of stuff much?
Yeah, we talk to the team a little bit about it. I don't think you can, you got to worry about the next game at hand. Obviously, the staff and Ruda did a really good job of the schedule that we had in non-conference, and that you handle your business the first part of the year, and that has a big impact once you get to the end of the season. And then our players did a great job of playing very, very, very well in non-conference, and won some really good games against some very good competition. And like I said, Ruda did a great job, and the entire staff of looking at teams like Fordham and some of the other teams that have played really, really well in their conference. And so we feel good about that. And then obviously our SEC schedule, I don't have any metrics in front of me, but I'm assuming that our SEC schedule was as tough as any team, having played Alabama twice, having played Kentucky. This will be our second time, obviously, playing Kentucky, and having played A&M twice. So in my opinion, again, without having everybody's schedule in front, I know our non-conference schedule was very good. I know we took care of business, and certainly in the conference schedule, because it's not a balanced schedule. I've said it 100 times. When I came into the league, it was a little bit eye-opening, how the balance of schedule can kind of really affect your schedule. And up until this juncture of my coaching career, every place I've ever been, it's been a balanced schedule. It's a balanced schedule in the NBA, where you play everybody in the West a certain amount of times, you play everybody in the East once at home and once on the road. The Mountain West was a balance, and so with this particular team, we've played. It's a hard schedule, and it's very hard schedule to end the year. You play on a Saturday at Alabama. You lose a close game, a game that really came down to a possession or two. You fly home Sunday, and then you get on a plane Monday and play Tennessee. So you're playing the second ranked team, the 11th ranked team in back-to-back games. And now you have a ranked team in Kentucky coming in on Saturday. So long answer to a short question.
Bob,
Yeah, Eric, I'll follow that up a little bit. The net, I think actually your net went up a spot after you played at Alabama. And I can't believe, playing at Tennessee, they were 3 in the net. And I think Kentucky might have gone down, but they were 20. So, I mean, your net's still really high. I mean, obviously you want to win the game, but it looks like you guys are in pretty good shape for the NCAA tournament, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've never been a part of being in that room. But yeah, we feel with our scheduled non-conference and conference, not the record that we would like. Certainly wish we would have played better against Tennessee. And but there's been a lot of games that we've lost that we put ourselves in a good position to win. So I think we've proven that we can play with anybody. We've had 2 major injuries. It's been well documented that the number of games missed due to injury with our team is as high as any team in the country. And I'm not talking about, somebody gets hurt and misses a game, or 2, Kamani missed a couple games with his toe and Mikal missed a game. And I'm not talking about that, or somebody gets hurt and comes back. And I'm talking about guys out for extended period of time. And we've done a really good job of holding it together. And we had to reinvent who we are and we're still reinventing who we are. We're still experimenting with plays and different ways to get different players involved from an offensive standpoint. I think defensively, we've been pretty steady, all year with our scheme and how we're going to do things from a defensive standpoint. But certainly, the roster makeup changes kind of who you are offensively.
And then Kamani, you're honoring him, I guess, because the other guys have eligibility left. I just wonder what you thought about coaching Kamani and his contributions. And then have you had any conversations with the other guys, the twins or Jalen, about their future plans?
No, I mean, I think all that stuff happens after the year. With Kamani, he's been a very important piece, especially this year, because he and Devo were the only 2 that really knew what we had going on, other than Lawson and Cade. And so Devo and Kamani's voice on the practice floor certainly carried a lot of weight for this whole season. He continues to have a voice in our huddles and in-game situations and at halftime. And he's won us some games. Obviously, that game against San Diego State right now, that's a game that was a really important win for us on a neutral floor. And he came in and I would say that his contribution in that particular game was as great a contribution as we've had from anybody in any one given game against a really good opponent, not in our own building. So, all of us really appreciate, and we're, really proud too, that academically, that he's getting a degree, and that was really important to Kamani and to his mom. And, just proud of how he's conducted himself, as a leader on our team.
I got a couple more. Want me to just keep going, or do you want to turn it back? Or
let's give Scotty a turn first. He may ask one of your questions.
I couldn't remember who's asked.
Thanks, Bob. Eric, you talked in the past about player leadership being important to a team growing. Are you seeing that from a guy, or maybe a couple guys as you get into March?
We would like more, for sure. Some more player leadership. I certainly think that Nick is really competitive and he's vocal. I think Anthony's tried to lead in his way. With both of them, they're still freshmen. And so those 2 guys in particular have tried to lead. Obviously, Devo and Kamani have probably been the most consistent voices throughout the season, and they're they have enough inner confidence to step up and say things internally. But I think that's an area that we want to continue to grow in, even though we only have 40 minutes of regular season basketball to play. You know, that's another area to continue to grow in. And you know, but I think those have been the guys that kind of have tried to lead us in different ways at different times of the year.
And secondly, after the last couple games, what's it going to take to maybe try to limit Kentucky's paint points to a number that you're, I guess, at least okay with, and what all goes into that? I would imagine it's more than just, you know, frontline guys.
Well, number one, our guards, you know, have to do a good job of keeping the ball in front of them. That means that the point guard, the off guard, and the small forward. These two games are a little bit different, though, that we just played. I mean, Alabama, every team they play, they space out. You either got to guard the three or guard the drive. That's been an entire theme. If I picked up the phone and called one of their non-conference opponents, that would be a discussion that you would have with anybody that plays them. And quite frankly, anybody that's going to have to play them, whether it's the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament, you're going to have to decide. It's really hard to take away both against a team that's a top 3 team in the country. And so that is what it is. And then if you look at the way that Tennessee, I mean, they're one of the best rebounding teams, so they're going to have points in the paint. Now, certainly you're talking about, you know, Toshibwe, who's an incredible offensive rebounder, maybe the best offensive rebounder that college basketball has seen in the last 10 years. But you look at our block shots and you look at how we have for the duration of the season, we've been a team that's done a great job of protecting the lane. Now, you know, we would have liked to have gotten better the last 2 games. So we've got to improve that area, certainly against Kentucky.
I think Cason Wallace left the game early last night for Kentucky. Y'all prepping like he's going to play?
Well, I mean, our first prep for Kentucky is going to be today. And so when we go down there, you know, we know that Coach Cal said that they're hopeful it'll play at Arkansas. We know that Coach Calipari said there was no swelling. And we know that Coach Cal said that the x-rays came back and he was fine. So certainly preparation will be for number 22, Wallace, to play without a question.
Bob?
You might be able to get Cal to send you the x-rays. I don't know.
I don't need to see him.
Hey, you talk about pain points. Sheba, you guys locked him down probably better than anybody has that I can remember. I know he only had 4 against Florida, but you got, you know, 7 points, 7 rebounds. What was the key to that the first time around? How much, you know, obviously the twins, you know, but how much did maybe guys like AB or some of the other guys help? But how'd you do that? And then what's the key to doing it again? Because he had 30 here last year. I know you guys won, but he had like 30 and 18, I think, just, you know.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of being alert to where he was on the floor. Every game's got its own theme, and so it doesn't really matter what happened in Lexington. Certainly, we've looked at the film on things that we did well, and certainly things that we want to get better at in that particular game. And I know that Coach Calipari and his staff are looking at different things that they can do. You know, to get all their, you know, we all want to get our best players, you know, as many good shots as we can. And, you know, we want to guard the 3 of Wallace and Reeves and Frederick. And like I said, Livingston's, improved, and Toppin is playing good basketball. So, but I did think in the game at Lexington, I thought that Jordan Walsh was really, really aggressive and had a big, big impact. It's one of his best games of the year. He was aggressive. I think they kind of helped off of Jordan, and he was really, really aggressive. So we need Jordan Walsh to have that same aggressiveness as he did in Lexington.
But is it realistic that you could hold Sheboy to similar numbers, or 2 games in a row that you know that just ain't going to happen? Or what? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you got to, whatever happened last game, whether a player has a great game or a player, struggles. I mean, it's it's kind of out the door. And, you know, when you look at Toshibwe's average, and can you hold him under his average? And that's the goal with anyone that we play that we deem a star player. So we'll take a look at Oscar's numbers, field goal percentage, number of free throws attempted that he has, the offensive rebounds that he averages, his point total, his efficiency numbers, and we'll try to shrink those numbers to the best of our ability, just under his average, will be our goal with him in particular, as well as what we deem their other star players as well.
And we're getting ready for postseason honor time. Just wonder what you thought about AB's season. I know the last couple games have been probably uncharacteristic, but taking his season as a whole, how do you feel about what he's done?
Yeah, I mean, I think Anthony's one of the best players in the country. You know, we've played him exclusively at the point guard position. You know, I think he can play anywhere on the floor. I think he can play the 1, 2, the 3, the 4. Got an incredible, bright future. We hope that you know, that he feels like he's improved greatly playing in this system, and I hope that he feels like all of our players that they've been given a lot of offensive freedom to grow their game, and you know, and hopefully the experience minutes wise that he's gotten will help us as we start entering this new season that's going to be upon us starting Sunday when we wake up.
One more thing on your schedule, Missouri outperformed the projections quite a bit. I mean, that's a good win for you guys here, and it's really not a bad loss in Columbia. They're 22-8, I think. So that, I mean, that helped your schedule too, didn't it? Missouri's emergence, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Missouri did a great job of handling their business in non-conference, had a great non-conference, and then they've carried that same play and that same intensity. You know, their head coach, Coach Gates, has done a great job. Love their transfers that have come in, and those guys got great experience, and the pieces really fit. But a really experienced team, and love how those transfers have blended in. A lot of guys that did not play in the SEC that have contributed and bought into Coach Gates' system, because they're an older veteran team, and you can tell from the first game until even last night, the way they closed out that game with their veterans. They got down, they came back. That's what a lot of veterans do.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Thanks, Luke.
Unless you want to say something else. Peace and love.